Yo, it's Mac from the Everyday Nobody's podcast. I know you see the title, so let's get straight to it. Now, if you know academics, you know he loves Charlemagne like a big brother. Charlemagne took him under his wing and gave him game when the industry was trying to hate on him. But now, Charlemagne giving academics his whole ass to kiss. But how did we get here? Well, it all started about a year ago. Charlemagne had this new podcaster that he was trying to introduce to the world. His name was Loon. He really was trying to force feed him down our throat because nobody I know likes Loon's podcast. He was the new addition to Charlemagne's Black Effect podcast network. So Loon went on Brilliant Idiots to promote his podcast, and he spent the majority of the time talking shit about academics.
I heard you, though, one more thing. I heard you speak about academics. I want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
I think academics.
What did I say?
Looney gets right to it. I love it.
Yeah, you said that. First of all, I think last week you said you could do comedy.
Yeah, I think he could do it.
Tell me more. I don't see it.
Okay.
I think that you're giving him a little too much. I don't know why. And I want to understand why. I think you met him at a very unique time in your life, and I think he's your doorway to the other side of the culture.
You think he was before the guy took your life?
Other side.
What's the other side?
What the messy, the Chicago, the beefy, bullshitty. I think he stands in that spot, but I don't see that translating to comedy. It's not even really, in my opinion, working great in podcasting. So if you...
He had one of the hugest stages in the world, and he used it solely to talk about other men. And it looked super shady because he came out the gate talking shit, and it almost looked like Charlemagne gave him the alley-oop to talk about his friend like that.
I heard you speak about academics. I want to talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
I think academics...
What did I say?
Looney gets right to it. I love it.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Looney gets right to it. I love it.
Yeah.
What made the shit look even worse is the only person that would defend academics was Andrew Schultz. Charlemagne was just sitting there, and even at some points, he would agree with Loon. That moment right there would be the seed that would start this growing feud.
In the words of Charlemagne, and I got to use his words to him, I watched the episode. I didn't know who this nigga was too much. Actually, I had to remind myself because the nigga was mad. I think the only time I communicated with him, he was mad because he said I posted something and he wanted to get tagged. Now, this is a 50-year-old man acting like a groupie. You know, please tag me, please tag me, please tag me, please tag me. That's who the new signee to Charlemagne's network. So I got to use Charlemagne's own words when it comes to him. Nah, that ain't it.
Fast forward a few months later, academics would go on one of his Henny-filled rants, and he would basically go off on the industry. He would talk about how a lot of these people are just users in Hollywood, because anytime they need him, he's the first one to say, hey, I'll be there Monday. I'm on the way. But when it's time to reciprocate, they never show that love. And that went for Wallow, that went for Gilly, and that went for Charlemagne.
2 days of communication, thanks to Wack. Me, Gilly, and Wallow did a podcast. I just keep it 100. It's been 7 months. I've been trying to get them on my podcast. Charlemagne. Back in the day, something going on with me and Joe. Yo, act, pop up. Nigga, I'm on the show with Joe. Let's do it. Brilliant. I gotta do it. I had a podcast now for 2 years. Yo, Charlemagne, when you free?
He said he gave Charlemagne the invite a long time ago, and he just been ducking them and giving them the runaround. That's enough to be mad right there, but then academics would go even further and explain that he felt like it was fucked up that it's been 2 years since he sent out the invitation to Charlemagne and he wouldn't show up to his podcast, but then he's sitting here kikiing with this dude who he barely even knows and lets him kick academics back in.
I see Charlemagne with the hater that he signed, but I can't get him on my podcast. I've been begging him for like a year. Whenever you free, bro. Whenever. I've been on Andrew Schultz twice. Now I feel away. Facts.
And to that, Charlemagne just did the passive-aggressive shit that he always does, and he says, Ack didn't invite me. Of course, academics, he keeps every receipt, so he was going through the text. He was like, no, I definitely invited you, and you gave me the runaround.
God damn, yo, we treating dicks the way Loon treated academics, man. Come on.
Yo, right, give him a break. You know what I'm saying? Free my man Ack. Can we free Ack, bro? God damn.
Oh my God, man. Salute to Ack, though.
Shout out Ack.
I'm gonna do Ack's podcast, man.
Yes, come on.
Oh, you are?
Why it took you so long to do it,
He
man?
never asked me. More than Ack. Ack might have asked me one time, like when it first launched, and I was like, yeah, cool, let's do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's got to be some follow-up.
All right. Okay, all right. See, if he ain't say that, nigga, I'm looking for. You see me looking now? I'm looking for the text, nigga. I asked everybody. But here's the thing. So when you ask somebody, like for example, when he asked me to do what's it called? It's immediate.
And ever since then, Act just been sitting around steaming. And it didn't help that Joe Budden's in his ear saying, hey, you gonna let that man do you like that? And Charlemagne still didn't show up. Charlemagne would go on to say, yeah, I'm gonna do Academics podcast, but he was kind of doing it passive aggressively because he was still making fun of the fact that Loon was airing him out and talking hella shit about him. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, Trump would drop them ugly ass January 6 sneakers. This would be the first time we've ever actually seen Academics say fuck it and go at Charlemagne and actually say how he truly feels about Charlemagne.
Now, I ain't gonna lie. I do got a slight call out here. I got a very slight call out. And I'm not gonna let niggas get away with this. Charlemagne and Meek Mill, y'all niggas rode a lot of Democratic dick for the last 4 years. I don't want to hear y'all act like now Trump is a viable option.
I don't care what it was. If it was any other situation, he would be defending Charlemagne. But now he's like, fuck that. I'm about to let him know how I really feel. So basically, he took the time to take a shot at Charlemagne's political rebrand. Now, if you know Charlemagne, you know he loves to go out of his way to praise the Democratic Party. He will pander his ass off, even if it makes him look stupid. Don't forget the hot sauce in the bag.
So what's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Don't forget Joe Biden.
Wait, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Charlemagne and the Breakfast Club were shamelessly promoting the Democrats. They were openly pandering to black people, and the Breakfast Club was just perpetuating that message that if you're black, you should be a Democrat. Instead of telling black people, hey, you should vote for your best interest, they were pushing this witch hunt narrative about the Republican. But now Charlemagne's having a change of heart. Now Charlemagne's saying, hey, you should vote for your best interest, and you should look into both parties, because really, they're both bad, so it's the best of two evils, but you should really look into Republicans and Democrats. The problem is, that was not the message you were speaking 4 years ago. And that boy Ack is not about to let that shit go.
Y'all made y'all bed stay there? Yep. Y'all gotta stay there now. I'm sorry. Charlemagne, I love you, brother. But I seen recently, you now trying to get on the Uncle Trump, because here's the thing. This is what happened to everybody, especially even Charlemagne. Charlemagne is a, hip hop, legend when it comes to commentary, now turned political pundit, but he's just repeating the same bullshit that we keep hearing from every fucking person. He's now finally revamped it and basically now calling on the Democratic Party. He's going dumb viral. But part of that rhetoric is saying, hey, listen, we might have to have an open ear to what the Republicans are saying. And all I got to say is, man, y'all cut that shit out. That fake performative shit, we don't want to hear it, because I watched and listened to the Breakfast Club, niggas like Meek Mill and everybody else act like Trump was the devil with two horns, or act like Republicans were just fucking aliens, and they were riding Democratic dick so much they called here y'all now all of a sudden have an open mind. What? Y'all having an open mind now? Y'all never had this.
He said before Charlemagne gets on his high horse and starts speaking this bipartisan shit, you need to apologize for how many black people you forced into the Democratic Party, because you was shaming people. So instead of directly responding to what Academics said, Charlemagne did his passive aggressive shit again. He basically said, hey, these are all my sons, and tell my sons I'm not coming home.
And I know you upset because daddy's been neglecting you.
Yo, it's facts.
I love all my sons regardless of how, no matter how y'all talk about dad. That's right. Don't mention daddy's name ever again.
They can't.
They can't. They can't.
Sean, they can't.
They can't. They can't. Matter of fact,
because they need to eat.
Whenever you hear my sons talking about me,
hey, your sons is hungry.
That's right.
Yo, your sons are hungry. They need.
Listen. Next time you hear my sons talk about me, just go in their comments and put, Daddy's not coming home. My son, some of y'all are.
And if you know, the reason why Academics was so mad in the first place is because you won't come on his podcast. So that's a direct shot at Academic. Now, of course, Academic, he's going to duck the smoke a little bit. He's like, hey, put a name on that bullet. He ain't talking about me because Charlemagne is direct. Even though all I've seen is passive aggressiveness. That was a name on the bullet, if you ask me.
This is like an amazing attempt for me to crash out. It didn't land though. I don't know what Charlemagne's talking about. He sure ain't talking about me. I don't know what he's talking about. And I don't take offense to.
But what do I know? I'm just an everyday nobody. Tell me what you think in the comments. Was Charlemagne wrong for the way that he let Loon kick Academics back in? Or is Academics just being a little too sensitive? Let me know what you think. I'm out.